Good morning, Prep 3. After we have read our vocabularies, now let's move to key structures. Today we will have recommendations. Recommendations توصيات أو تزكيات. It's different from advice. The advice, you have to do it. It's good for you to do it. But recommendations, maybe you can try it or not. Let's see how to ask for recommendations. I use the verb recommend or suggest. Recommend يوصي أو يزكي بشيء. Suggest يقترح حاجة. You can ask with what, where, when, how. أي أداة استفهام على حسب أنت محتاج تسأل عن إيه. يعني مثلا if I am hungry, what do you recommend I eat? If I have a holiday, where do you suggest I go? Or where do you recommend I go? Suggest زي recommend بالظبط في الاستخدام. I'm having a trip. Okay? When do you recommend I start? I'm traveling to Aswan. How do you recommend I go? يبقى هنا التوصية أو التزكية ممكن أسأل عنها بأي أداة استفهام على حسب الفعل اللي أنا هتكلم بيه. طيب, giving recommendation. We use the verb suggest or recommend, but they must be followed by one of each of the following. They must be followed by a noun, verb ing, or that with a full sentence. كلمة ذات ممكن ما استخدمهاش وممكن أكمل sentence بتاعتي عادي جدا. Let's see some examples. I want to do a sport. What do you recommend I play? تعالوا نشوف كده الاقتراحات هنا أو التزكية بتاعتنا. I suggest football. I recommend football. يبقى هنا عندي حطينا noun. Recommend, suggest plus noun. I suggest playing football. I recommend playing football. يبقى هنا استخدمنا gerund اللي هو verb ing. Suggest أو recommend must be followed by a noun زي football or gerund اللي هو verb ing like playing football. محدش يستخدم to. محدش يستخدم I recommend you football. لا, I recommend football, I recommend playing football, or I recommend that زي ما انتم شايفين كده that we play football أو you play football. تمام؟ ممكن استخدم suggest أو recommend زي ما احنا قلنا مكان بعض عادي جدا. الاتنين بيدوا نفس النتيجة ان انت بتقترح او بتزكي او بتنقي حاجة لزميلك. تمام؟ طيب, ممكن سؤال كمان برضو for recommendations. Do you recommend a boat trip? Do you recommend a tour with a guide? مثلا I am hungry. Do you recommend pizza? I wanted to do a sport. Do you recommend basketball? يبقى هنا كلمة برضو do you recommend أو do you suggest أنا هنا بسألك بقترح عليك إن أنت هل موافق إن أنت تقترح عليا حاجة زي دي أو لأ. تمام؟ عندنا كلمة place. تمام, place مكان. I can ask about what is the best place to do a sport. What is the best place to do a sport? The club is the best place to do a sport. What is the best place to eat? The restaurant is the best place to eat. What is the best place to buy souvenirs? Buy souvenirs. بالظبط زي ما خدناها the bazaar is the best place to buy souvenirs. What is the best place to try windsurfing? Hurghada is the best place to try windsurfing. طبعا دي ممكن تيجي situations مواقف زي ما احنا شايفين كده. Look at number 1. You recommend a place to visit. You recommend a place to visit. I recommend you visit the pyramids. ممكن على طول أقول I recommend the pyramids. Number 2. Your friend asked you to suggest a sport. I suggest playing football. وممكن أقول على طول I suggest football or I suggest you play football. Number 3. You ask a friend to recommend you a place to eat. You ask a friend, خلي بالك, you ask a friend to recommend you a place to eat. Where do you recommend I eat? خلي بالك طالما بسأل على place في حد من زمايلكم قال what؟ لا هي where do you recommend I eat? Number 4. You ask a friend to suggest a time to start your trip. يبقى هنا time يبقى هسأل when. When do you suggest I start my trip? Number 5. You ask about the best place to see dolphins. What is the best place to see dolphins? Number 6. A tourist asked you about the best place to buy souvenirs. The tourist asked you, so you have to give the answer. انت هنا اللي هتدي الإجابة. The bazaar is the best place to buy souvenirs. Number 7. You advise a friend to sleep early. دي مراجعة كده على اللي فاتت. Giving advice. You advise a friend to sleep early. I advise you to sleep early. ممكن استخدم should وأقول you should sleep early. You are advised to eat healthy food. You are advised, خلي بالك are advised يعني أنت تنصحت. You are advised to eat healthy food. Yes, you are right, or I will think about it if you refuse the advice. Number 9. You ask for your brother's advice. أنت بتطلب هنا your brother's advice. What should I do? What should I do?